Peace and blessings, and welcome yet again, guys, to yet another exciting episode. Now, today, guys, episode is going to be quite different, right? It's going to be quite different. We are going to be talking about time. Does time really exist? The illusion of time. What is time? And that is what we're going to be talking about in this episode. Now, guys, for the first 3 minutes of this episode, I'm going to be explaining to you a concept, right? And I want you to understand that for you to be able to understand this episode, you have to do exactly as I tell you to do, right? Are we clear, guys? For this episode, for you to be able to understand the concept that I want you to grasp on this episode, I want you to do exactly as I tell you to do. Otherwise, you're going to miss this entire episode and it's going to fly by you and you're not even going to understand what. So now, guys, I'm going to give you a manual that you must apply so that you can be able to understand this episode. Now, what we're going to do today, guys, it's either it's going to blow your mind away or it's going to leave you confused. You decide where you want to find yourself. But I've already given you a disclaimer. It's going to blow your mind away or it's going to leave you confused. Now, today we're going to be talking about time. Now, when I tell you, now my target is 3 minutes, like I said. For the first 3 minutes, I'm just explaining to you the episode. So don't skip anything, right? Just listen carefully. So when the mark hits 3 minutes, or when the episode reaches 3 minutes, I want you to mark the timestamp, and I will tell you in the next 10 seconds when that time comes. When that time comes, I will tell you in the next 10 seconds, pause the episode and go to the next one, and go to a specific timestamp that I want to set for you, right? That is what we're going to be doing. Now, we're going to be talking about time. Now, so far as I can see, I'm left with 50 seconds before we can go to the next part of our episode for today. Remember, we are talking about time, right? We are going to be talking about time. What is time? How do we measure time? Is there a past? Is there a future? Or time just is? Does time exist? What is time? That is what we're talking about today, guys. So now we're probably left with 20 seconds. Yes, now we are left with 20 seconds before you can pause. And I want you to mark the timestamp that you have paused the video so that you can be able to come back to it, right? For remember, you have to follow the instructions for this episode for you to understand it. So now, guys, you are left with, okay, so I'm going to extend it. So now we are left with 10 seconds. So in the next 10 seconds, just pause and then jump to the mark that I'm going to tell you. So you're going to jump to the 6-minute mark, right? Jump to the 6-minute mark of the video. Put your cursor to the 6-minute mark, and it's going to start in the next 10. After it is 10 seconds, pause. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now pause. What are you waiting for? Pause and go to the 6-minute mark. See you on the 6-minute mark, guys. Welcome to the past, ladies and gentlemen. Now, is that really the past or this just is? For these activities, they existed, right? They existed. So welcome to the past, or welcome to the time, or welcome to the present moment. You choose however you want to call it. Now, we are going to explain this time thing using this disc. Now, guys, I'm going to read for you, right? Now, on this disc, there are various tracks. These tracks have always been on the CD and will always be on the CD. You choose the track that you want to play by simply using the remote to either skip to that track or fast forward to that track. These tracks that are on the CD that we see here, these tracks are like time. Time has always existed. These tracks represent time. Now, you can either tap into that time or you cannot. Remember, the songs on the 5-minute mark are always there, but unless you tap into that space, you will never get to experience the songs on the 5-minute mark. You can even choose to eject the CD from the player whilst only have played one song. But remember, that doesn't mean that the other songs don't exist just because you ejected the CD from the time that it was supposed to play the specific song. And just like the CD, guys, so is our lives. Our lives are just like the CD, and the tracks that are on the CD are just like time, right? So you have to tap into the specific times that your life represents, right? You have to tap into that time. These tracks will always be there. The time will always be there, but you have to tap into that space. And that is the end of our moment for now, as I see that we have run out of time, so that you can be able to experience and enjoy the 6-minute mark. Now, until we meet again next time, let us meet in the future. Now, from the past, it is all from us. Remember, time always exists. Now, welcome to the future, ladies and gentlemen. But wait, is this really the future, or is it the past? What is this? Welcome to the future. Now, guys, for this episode, I'm going to be reading for you guys. I've tried to download it in my mind and tried to bring it back to you, but it was just not working. So I'm going to read it to you as I was downloading it and as God was feeding my mind with it, right? Now, welcome to the future, ladies and gentlemen. How many of you are excited to be in the future? You've just skipped 3 minutes and you've gone into the future. Isn't that exciting? You've just time traveled. Have you ever heard these things that they say there's time traveling and all of that? You have just time traveled and you don't know what is actually happening from the 3-minute mark to the 6-minute mark. Isn't it interesting that you've just skipped 3 minutes and you don't know what actually happened? The course of activities that is happening in the 3-minute mark to the 6-minute mark. Guys, but a question I have for you. But is there really the future? For this time always existed. You just had to tap into it. It's not the future time or past time. It just is. Quick question. Now, if you had not clicked the 6-minute mark, does it mean that the activities happening here were never going to happen? For these activities existed. Whether you clicked on the 6-minute mark or not, you're still going to experience them. So does it mean that these activities were never going to exist if you had not clicked into the 6-minute mark? Remember, we are talking about the illusion of time. Does time really exist? Now, guys, most of you might be wondering, why is he holding a disc on his hand? We're going to explain it further, guys, as time goes. Now, guys, these activities that are happening in this current space of time, they always existed. You just had to tap into it. Isn't it interesting that time is neither forward or backwards? It just is. So why spend your time worrying about the future and what the future will bring? Why spend your time about that? For remember, guys, there is no future. Or even wait, is there even a future? Is there a tomorrow? What is this whole thing? The Bible then says, take no thought of what tomorrow will bring. For what is happening today is enough for you. What is happening in the here and now, that is what you should only focus your mind on. For there is no tomorrow. Who can currently say that tomorrow is coming? Who can say tomorrow is going to come? Who can stand here and say tomorrow is going to come? No one knows whether tomorrow is going to come, right? For the only time that exists is now. Remember, time just is. There's no past, there's no future, it's just time. Time just is. Now, for those that have been wondering, why is he holding a disc on his hand? Right? For those that have been wondering, why is he holding a disc on his hand? Now, guys, when we are playing a disc at 3 minutes, right? When the disc is playing at 3 minutes, it does not worry about the song that is on 6 minutes. Can I repeat that? When the disc is playing at 3 minutes. It does not worry about the song that's supposed to play at 6 minutes. This disc right here has a total of 7 songs, but there's a song that is supposed to play at 1 minute. There's a song that has been put into this disc that it must play when the disc rotates to get to the 3-minute mark. There's a song as well that is going to play when it gets to the 6-minute mark. There's a song that's going to play when it gets to the 7-minute mark. But the disc does not worry about the song that is going to play at 6 minutes. It mainly focuses on playing the 3-minute part to its best of its ability. This is the same thing in life. Stop focusing on what will happen when you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Stop worrying about what's going to happen to you at that certain age. Or maybe let's even push it at 120. But you never know, right? With this food that we're eating nowadays, I think we are pushing it by capping it at 120. Stop worrying about what is going to happen to your life at that specific time. For just like the disc, so is your life. Those activities already exist at that specific time, but your job is to make sure that you play the 3-minute part to the best of your ability. You play the 30-minute part to your best of your ability. You play as well the 40-minute mark to the best of your ability without worrying about what the 60-minute mark will bring, for you have known that I have played the 3-minute mark to the best of my ability. Remember, guys, the 6-minute part will come. The 7-minute mark will come. That time is going to come. So worrying about it while you're still on the 3-minute mark does not serve you any good. You just have to focus on making sure that you play your role to the best of your ability. You play the time that you have now to the best of your ability. Guys, here I wrote, the 30 will come, the 60 will come. And for some, remember, some only have 5 songs on their disc. Some 10, some 20, and some even 5. And some only have 1 song. But you have to focus on playing your current song to the best of your ability, for the other times are going to come. Now, that, ladies and gentlemen, is time. Right? With that, guys, that is how time works. It already exists. What's supposed to happen to you when you're 30? It already exists. What's supposed to happen to you when you are 25? It already exists. What is happening now in the world? Even the Bible says there's going to come a time where certain things are going to be happening. So the things that are happening now, these activities already existed from the time that the Bible was written, guys. So we are just now on that 3-minute mark. We are just now on that 6-minute mark. For these activities already existed from the time that the Bible was written. We just had to tap into that 7-minute mark. But for us to tap into it, it doesn't mean that these activities didn't exist. These activities already existed from the time that the Bible was written. That's why we're experiencing the things that were said in the Bible now. Because these activities already existed. We just had to bring ourselves to this time that we're living in now. I hope I'm making sense to you. Or if I'm not, when you tap back to your timestamp, maybe when you go back to the past, but is that really the past? For the activities that are happening from the time that you put your timestamp up until now, those activities already existed. So is that really timestamp, or is that really the past? Guys, time right? Time. Now, until we meet again on the next episode, it's been a pleasure talking to you about time. And if you have any questions, be sure to ask, right? And I'll be sure to explain to you to the best of my ability. But wait, what if we go into the past? So that timestamp that you have put for yourself, remember that timestamp that you ended up skipping from the time that you paused and you skipped. Now I want you to go back to that timestamp, right? I want you to go back to that timestamp so that you can experience again a different reality. Now, until we meet again next time, guys, it's been a pleasure. Remember, go back to that timestamp so that you can receive more information that will help you to understand the whole concept that we've been talking about today. Now, until we meet again next time, it's been a pleasure. Ciao.